And Alessandro, let me come to you now on, the kind of gaps in the current legal framework. Are there gaps, firstly? I think probably I know your perspective there. How can policies be more fit for purpose? And what I'm really specifically wondering about is we've heard about these legitimate exceptions that allow legitimately when there's differences in the individual quality. We heard this in earlier presentations. I wondered on what your opinion was on these. I mean, are they too vague? Is there too much room for maneuver in these legitimate exceptions? Are there ways to kind of make them a bit tighter?
Well, we heard before that nowadays companies can still market and sell goods of the same brand with different composition of characteristics in different geographical markets when this is justified by legitimate and objective factor such as national legislation, availability or seasonality of raw materials or voluntary strategies to improve access to healthy and nutritious food. Well, it's true, Cesare before explained us that every rule you can interpret it in different way. But in my opinion, this is a good definition. The stone mines are flexible, and it's important that they are flexible because, for example, it's not true that the best ice cream was the one we were used to eat 20 years ago. Of course, the idea of quality fortunately changed. If you think how many colorants, how many additive in the 80s we are used to it. So, I mean to say, we have to let a window open for the empower, for example, the seasonality of the products that for us, for example, for the Italian is a must. And much more a big brand go close to the consumer. Think when McDonald's began to use meat of the country where we're used to sell his hamburger. What was an exercise, an attempt to give more quality, or at least to interpret the idea of quality that was common in Europe. So I don't believe that in this moment we should write new rules and above all to forbid this practice. But I am agree. Is a question of big imagine something. The divergent could be also very good for the raw materials, for for example, how many very fat business person are in the United States. Probably if you sell your products in that states, will be better if the ingredients have less sugar or glucose. It's not the same if you sell a product in a Mediterranean country or in the North country. The same forecast, the temperature, the kind of job you do. So I think it's better to maintain a flexible manner but at the same way we have to be also a little bit integral, a little bit close to pretend that there is a justification for the divergent. If there are no justification, it's forbidden, is unfair practice, and okay, we can use the national independent authorities. Okay, we can use this kind of soft law. If we don't want to write new laws, we use the soft law. but we need that all the stakeholders collaborate with straight in, I think with, was saying before and finish that could be efficient to give to the association, the consumer association, for example, free and unrestricted access to the laboratories for the test, and create, how was said, and is the right direction, a public European platform dedicated to consumer association for the management, treatment of this practice, also to guarantee that there is an equivalence between about how each European association approach these issues, because it's really delicate, and I still have in my mind that I don't have any economic numbers, data of how huge is this market. Because if we answer of this answer, I think we can understand a lot of things.
Numbers talk. Okay, let me move now to our Q&A session. We've had a few questions coming in from the audience. Perhaps I will direct the first one to Francisco. I know you've done a lot of work on the farm to fork strategy, so that's the EU's flagship food policy. And we have one question here on how the farm to fork strategy, I mean, you mentioned earlier that it's not mentioned in the farm to fork strategy specifically, but perhaps there are ways that the farm to fork strategy can help on this issue of dual food quality.
Yes, as I mentioned, it's not clearly defined, this issue of dual food quality, but it is on informations regarding consumers, food products and consumers. But I would like to stress that, again, the farm to fork is just a strategy, and now we are, the trilogue, the council, the commission and the parliament finalized their version of the common agricultural policy, which will have an influence on a subject that was talked early on, that is the price of goods. And so obviously citizens, especially in a pandemic period, are most constrained and should have access to fairly reasonable goods with a good price, so high quality with good prices. But this common agricultural policy will, in my view, condition that proposal to have good food in lower prices that have a lower impact on animal welfare and the environment. And so, obviously, when we are talking about these issues, we are talking about several areas. And for me, the common agricultural policy, which is a huge slice of the EU budget, more or less 28% by current prices, will influentiate the access of these goods, these food products, to EU citizens. And so the price will have a major role to play in the upcoming years, especially in a recovery from the crisis. And I would also say, to end, that marketing is also very relevant. So not also businesses use a lot of own resources to market these products, and sometimes can be misleading. But also the EU subsidizes the marketing of several products that can also have this dual food quality issue, and so we should be aware of those probabilities and try to assess how much this market is valued and how should we tackle this issue.
And that leads me quite nicely onto our next question from the audience. That's quite a nice segue. There's a question here from an anonymous person saying that the latest Eurobarometers underline that price, and obviously you've just highlighted that price will probably continue to be very important to consumers, underlines that price, taste and accessibility play a key role in consumers' choices. But environmentally friendly and locally produced food products are also important factors. So maybe, Marco, I'm going to put this question to you. How do companies position themselves when it comes to deciding on the recipes of their products, when it comes to considering these factors? You know, do you favor taste and price over other factors, or do you also take these into consideration?
I don't think that price is the main factor when it comes to establishing a recipe. I think that at least for Ferrero, what we care about is the quality of our raw materials, the food safety of our products and raw materials, and the sustainability of our raw materials. We have very strong commitments for every one of our raw materials in terms of sustainability, in terms of food safety. We have very high standards that many times go even beyond the law requirements in terms of food safety and in general in terms of sustainability. So what I can say is that, yeah, price of course is very important, but it's definitely important for consumers. But we have to be aware that when we put a product on a market, it's not only a matter of price, but it's also a matter of how this product is impacting the market, is impacting the supply chain, is impacting the sourcing activities, is impacting all the people and activities that are carried out before and after we put this product into the market and we sell it to consumers. So as I said, these standards are very important since many years, and are now with the Fund Fork are becoming even more important. This is very, very relevant, and I mean, we are completely open to collaborate on this, and we are very happy that we see that the European Commission, the European Union is going in this direction of having products that are always more sustainable. So it's not only a matter of price.
Thank you very much for that answer. Let me take a last question, I think, from our audience, and I'll put this to you, Alessandro. So someone has asked whether the Sustainable Food Law mentions the issue of dual quality of food, and whether perhaps whether it also should it mention.
If I understand, if the question is if it's right that sustainability items.
The question put is should the Sustainable Food Law mention the issue of dual food quality? Maybe a big question to end on.
I'm not so sure that this important fundamental topic, if everything is going to a new Green Deal, that means that the topic is really great and important. The United Nations remember us, which are our goals for these 10 years, but I think that we are speaking about two different things. Here, the topic dual quality doesn't tell anything really about quality, about environmental, about the sustainability of the product. I think they are issues completely different. That what probably is true, that moving on, changing also our legislation, our laws about label, and going to change the legislation about the front of package label, with putting more care on fair about the nutritional composition. And there is a big debate about this. Who wants a light traffic way? Who a Nutri-Score, a Nutri-Inform? What I mean that more we try to be precise, to be sharp, to be careful what we have to put on the label, and for sure this will involve also this question of sustainability. because more information you give to the consumer, more the consumer can think and can develop his own thoughts. That's why we don't like the traffic light system, because it doesn't help people to think, but just say red, green, yellow. Nowadays, the consumer culture is more advanced of this. But all this movement, all this sure can help also to give an important information that nowadays we don't have, or we have just in partial, just in part. For example, it's funny when you read on the packaging that this packaging is a friend of the environmental, because the paper comes from the forest that is certificated. But if the paper is mixed with plastic and you cannot recycle that product, not as paper, not as plastic, you are saying something that is just partially true. And in this, fortunately, we are going to an horizon that before or later the truth come up in all his dimension, and also in the sustainability dimension, but are different topics.
The whole truth and nothing but. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to all of you, actually, to all of our panelists, and also to all of the speakers today. So actually, this is bringing our event today to a close. But before we go, let me just hand you over into the capable hands of Floriana for some closing remarks today. So thank you very much. And Floriana, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you to our panelists. I just would like to give a short message. First of all, to Marco. Marco is great. You would like to cooperate with us and with the Eco Project. I'm very glad about it. Actually, I would like even to ask you to send us some Ferrero products so we can check on the dual food quality. It would be great to have you on board. We are looking for a lot of industry. We are sure that a lot of industry do not do dual food quality. So why not saying to the world somehow? We are a consumer organization. We're happy to kind of control certain products from Ferrero. We are already doing some of them, but it would be great to have a cooperation with your company to continue to do this on a positive way. And when we realize that it will be that there is no dual food quality practice, etc., we can even give this information using fightdualfood.eu, which is our website that we create, to give this kind of information saying Ferrero is doing an amazing, excellent job. They don't do dual food quality. So we shouldn't, as industry, see always as consumer organization as safe as enemy. Actually, it's the opposite. We can really cooperate, go in the same direction together. That's the first thing I wanted to say to Marco. And Alessandro was saying often that the Commission needs to do more work on this. We need to have a database with information, which I agree. However, with the Eco Project, we are organizing this fightdualfood.eu database with a lot of information. So it would be great to have your consumer organization on board to support us and to help us to make this project as big as possible. And then actually I would like just to conclude saying main word to conclude this conference, it's only one, it's cooperation. Cooperation with you, with consumer organization, national level. Today at this conference, we have a lot of consumer organization. Please work with us on this issue. The more we are, the more country we have, the more our database will be larger. So you are fundamental. Industries, really welcome industries. Let's work together. Franz from the European Commission publicly said we could help you and give you information about industry who cooperate with the European Commission, of course, without going against the GPR legislation, so asking industry permission for this. But through the European Commission, we can have all the list of industry already cooperate with them, and they could continue cooperating with SAFE for our database. And we should not forget that when we do a European project, although the deadline of our European project is end of July, it doesn't mean that the project is finished. Actually, this is just to build the guidelines, to be able to train consumer organizations all over Europe who would like to be trained by SAFE on dual food quality, and to have the whole database and the website ready. But then we are ready now to go ahead. So it's not the end of our project. The project is ready to go ahead. This is a project will take years, and we are here to cooperate with all of you. So without consumer organization who help us, without industry who will support us, and as I said to industry, positive message, not like with the second fingers, oh my God, you're doing dual food quality, not in that way, but like, contrary, you're not doing dual food quality, great, you're an example, let's inform consumers that you don't do dual food quality, that you're a correct company who don't do this kind of practice, who are mislead for the consumer. So let's see in a positive way, consumers, industry have to cooperate. If we do not cooperate, we do not go anywhere. And then, so I really, really wish a lot of industry will be with us, sending their products at our office in Brussels and working with them. And if there is any issue, we will inform industry. We will not go around giving this information. So, and that's just to conclude. I would like to thank you so much, all our amazing speakers. To thanks Iulia Virtanen, she works at SAFE, she did an amazing work with this project. Thanks our partners for this eco project, without them we wouldn't exist. Thanks Natasha and all of you to be with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Floriana. And yes, you are also free to send me some samples from Ferrero and I will test them for you if you want. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching today. As I said, this event has been recorded, so you can relive all of the fun again if you'd like to. Be sure to check out SAFE's website in the meantime for more information on dual quality of food and also on a number of other consumer issues. So without that, that's it from us today. I'm Natasha Foote. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.